Welcome to the Rich Lady Revolution, Redefining Rich with Diane McKendrick. Hey, lovely lady, I see you. You're an ambitious, high-achieving woman, driven, passionate, and ready for more. More money, more impact, more freedom. This is the place where women just like you come together from all over the world to break the old rules and redefine what it truly means to be rich. Because being a rich lady is about so much more than money. Joining the Rich Lady Revolution with those two sisters is about more than the money in your bank account. It's about building wealth on your terms, doing what you love, with who you love, and creating a life that feels as good as it looks. It's about stepping into your unshakable power and purpose. This podcast, combined with my 5th book, is your personal invitation to step into your rich lady identity. I will be here to educate, inspire, and empower you along the way, to support you to cut the crap, do the thing, and be the rich lady you were born to be. So if you are ready to elevate your income, your impact, and your life, the revolution starts now. Hello and welcome to episode number 209 of the Rich Lady Revolution, Redefining Rich. Super excited today because I am fresh off the back of the Top Shelf retreat. So the Top Shelf retreat we ran over the last weekend is million and multi-million dollar business women who come together. It's a smaller, more intimate retreat where we deep dive into the energetics of their business and really do the internal work to ensure that those ladies are fully supported and seen. And it just, I say it every time, but they just keep getting better and better. So we had it down in, well, just a bit past Byron Bay in a place called Bangalow. And it was absolutely stunning. It was a new property. We hadn't used this property before, which always brings up a little bit of uncertainty, a little bit of fear. But it was the perfect property for it. It is a much smaller, more intimate retreat. There was 12 of us there all together, and we are deep in the after retreat comeback right now, all of us, as we've all returned home from an absolutely awe-inspiring couple of days together. We arrive Thursday night, we leave by the Sunday morning, and it honestly feels like you're there for about 3 months, although it is a period of just like 2.5 days, I guess, really. So always very special to hold all of the retreats. And as I've said, it just, I don't know how, but it just keeps getting better and better. As I was working with these ladies, we have our beginner business, established business owners. Granted, most of these are established business owners. We went through the life cycle of business. I based it on my book, my 4th book called The Aligned Woman's Way, Seasons and Cycles of Life and Business. Because if you're a woman in business and you're not honoring your seasons and cycles, that of your body, that of your business, then life and business, if they're not in alignment, will be hard. You'll be pushing, you'll be forcing, you'll be burning out. So we did a few practices and processes over the course of the weekend with these ladies that really supported them to get their body and their business and their different areas of their life in alignment so your business can thrive with more flow and less force. Because that's what I find a lot of us business women are wearing lots of different hats, lots of different masks. We're carrying a lot. There's a lot of responsibility. There's a lot of shifting and changing of the hats or the masks, and it can really get exhausting. So when you get in alignment with the season and cycle and you educate and have the framework and have support, which is what we took the ladies through over the weekend, big shift starts to change. We also talked about financial thermostats, which a lot of them found really mind-blowing because it's a subconscious thing that we all have, but no one had ever spoken to them about the unconscious thermostat that sits in the unconscious mind. Now, an unconscious thermostat is basically how much money you have in your bank at any one time, and we all have a blueprint of it because what the masses do, all the money comes in. Could be $500, it could be $5,000, could be $50,000. And then if you're in a pattern, what happens to most people in the masses, and I was mind blown when I learned this as well, is all the money comes in and then you pay all your bills and then you're back to zero. So most people are living from a thermostat of zero. And that's fine, but they're a very different standard of life if your thermostat is, for example, $20,000 or $30,000 or $50,000, where you see that number in your bank account as zero. So all your expenses paid, your profits paid, your taxes are paid, everything's happening, and you're gradually building it up to a 20, 30, 40, 50, $60,000 buffer that just sits there in there as zero. And it was really interesting listening to one of the ladies there who had a financial thermostat of about $50,000, how her brain saw that as saw the $50,000 as a zero. So she would make decisions based on what she wanted with that as 50. So if she wanted something and it was going to drop the bank account under 50, she wouldn't allow herself to have it. She was really disciplined with it. And I love hearing everybody's stories, and I love hear where everybody's at. And I love seeing the breakthroughs and the aha moments and the life altering just specs in time where everything changes. And as much as the facilitation and the coaching, which both Michelle and I do, it's each other. It's the caliber of the women that come together to share and open and be brave and be vulnerable. So yeah, that's a little bit about the weekend and how amazing it was. And yeah, based on the book, The Aligned Woman's Way, Seasons and Cycles of Life, this is volume 2. So co-authored book. I have 10 co-authors in there. If you haven't got yourself a copy of yet and you are a businesswoman, please make sure you get a copy of this book. You can buy it from our website, www.thosetwosisters.com. It is no longer on pre-sale, so it'll be sitting out there at full price, which I believe is $40. And yeah, well worth it because it's going to make you a lot more than $40 in your life, I'm sure. A lot of my books also are written as journals, so you can write in it. And there's questions in there and journal prompts in there. So you can earmark the pages, you can highlight it. And when you do get the book and you start reading it, please send through your bits and pieces that have helped you. If it's whether it's my content or one of my co-authors' content, I'm consistently opening up my phone and seeing, it happened this morning actually, a photo with highlighted from one of my other clients and followers who got the book and is reading about it. And yeah, it's one of my favorite things to receive those testimonials from ladies. So yes, we are up to episode 209 here in the podcast, and we're talking about the confidence codes. And let me see where we are. 209. Yeah, we're talking about the confidence codes and how to activate them. So I'm just going to go through quite quickly today a bit of a summary of what we are doing in the Rich Lady Revolution, because they will have a whole month on this topic. And actually, I'll give you a bit of information before I go into it. So the confidence codes is all about the courage to be seen. In the workshop that we're doing in the Rich Lady Revolution, it's about reclaiming your voice, igniting your confidence, and finally being seen as the woman that you were born to be. So this matters because there's so many bloody workshops out there, and you go and you sit there and you feel good for half an hour and then you leave and you don't take any action and you don't get any changes. So this is really designed, this workshop specifically is designed around getting an activation, like really pinpointing what it is for you. So let's rise out of hiding into wholeness. So many of you are shrinking in silence, but you're born to be seen. And I just work with so many ladies that have got such a gift to share, but they flap and flounder and they're fear and the world's told you you're too much, tone it down, be more like this, don't be like that. And so you start to dim your light and to become more acceptable, more like them and less like you. So that's just got to stop. And this is what I've noticed with myself, with my clients and my coaching, that a lot of women are scared of their own voice. This was me in my journey. I was petrified, terrified of my own shadow, of my own voice several years ago. I couldn't really pull it all together. And I've reverse engineered. Part of this workshop is I've just gone through and go, how did I go from being so shy and timid and petrified of my own shadow to speaking in front of audience, getting paid a lot of money to speak in front of audience of over 100 people, publishing up to my 5th book now, publishing over 200 podcasts, working with million and multi-million dollar business owners, having Michelle join the business and really step into our space and claim that for ourselves. So that's all the stuff I'll be teaching for in the workshop, and it'll be recorded. So if you're listening to this after about the 5th of May, you can get it on recording. So just send us a message saying confidence codes workshop, please, and the team will send you the information on that. Who is it for? The workshop that we're delivering is if you're a high achieving woman who knows that you've been playing it small. If you're ready to stop filtering your truth to keep others comfortable, I think we all do that at certain times. You want to lead with presence, power, and peace. You're craving a sacred space to remember who the F you are without judgment. You've had success, but you're ready for deep alignment. So the workshop's based on checkpoint number 1, which is self-belief or self-worth inside the Rich Lady Revolution roadmap. So we have the roadmap for those of you who aren't ready to like fully jump in balls deep. No, I shouldn't say that. Really fully ready to jump into the membership, which is $150 a month for the Rich Lady Revolution. The membership, no lock-in contract, no silly business. Just basically $150. You get the workshop and a whole bunch of other stuff, support every single month, different topic. But some people aren't ready for that yet. So we created the Rich Lady Roadmap, which is a mini version of that. And the roadmap is only valued at or priced at $47. So it's accessible to everyone. Once again, I'll put that in the show notes so you can just click on it. And then that's 6 steps on how to get your rich lady lifestyle. Very, very significant, but very simple. And I've reverse engineered my success as to what Michelle and I have done, and I've put it into a map. And I promise you, if you get that roadmap and you follow the steps, you are going to be living your rich lady lifestyle pretty quickly. So this workshop and is based on checkpoint number 1, self-belief, self-worth of that roadmap. And yeah, it's also obviously the standalone experience with the workshop and the revolution to dip your toes in before joining us. Some people like to just, try before you buy kind of thing. So it's pretty bloody epic because what you get is actually, let me give you a bit of content first. So let's start with fame. A lot of people's egos think they want to be famous because X, Y, and Z. I've always had this conversation and laughed a lot at myself because I remember way back when I was working with a coach and something shifted in my business, and we laugh and we call it celebrity moments, and you're out and about. And because your brand and your presence is doing the work online, people notice you in shops, at the movies, at events. I went to an event the other day actually, and I walked in and the first 6 people knew who I was. And I had no idea who they were because they'd seen me online or they'd seen me speak in an audience of 100 or 200 people and eventually come up and said hello to me. And I was like, oh, wow, that's incredible. But yeah, sharing the story of when this first started happening for me, my coach said to me, how does it feel? How does it feel to be noticed? And I guess this really can stroke some people's ego. But for me, being a more timid, shy nature, I remember very clearly what I said to her. I said, I'm so grateful for the familiarity and people knowing me now because it means that getting my message to the world is going to be easier. And I remember it like it was yesterday. It was a couple of years ago, and I just remember being so grateful because fame to me is a strategy. The more people know you, the more your brand and your presence does the talking, the more people that you're going to reach. So it's a marketing tool or a marketing asset that you can build. So a lot of people will avoid becoming famous because the subconscious mind tells them that it's unsafe and you shouldn't do it. And there's all this stuff that goes on. But the reality of it is that fame will allow you to sell. Fame or being seen, known as either a celebrity or a trusted person within your industry will give you a never-ending variety of products. People are going to want what you've got across any niche and for decades to come. Like, this is really important to understand. You can not just do it for decades, but once you've got a name for yourself, you can scale it. And the other really important thing here, fame as a strategy or a marketing strategy, is you don't need an ad spend because fame is that resource that you can accumulate. If you have it, you're set up for income and business security for life. Why do you think that is? Think about fame as a strategy, not to just make you feel really important, but for your product to get out there. It's plain and simple. So I want you to start thinking about fame like that. And even in just that shift and change will create a big shift for you. The other thing here I want to add into this conversation is a lot of people think you need hundreds or thousands or hundreds of thousands of true fans or people following you to become famous or to make money. The truth is, you only need 100 true fans to build a very solid business. So you don't need to become a Hollywood celebrity. You don't need to walk the Oscars. You only need about 100 true fans. Because guess what? Think of it like this. If you've got 100 true fans paying you just $150 a month, which is what our Rich Lady Revolution is priced at, 100 of those fans, it's $22,500 a month. Now, when you start putting things into numbers like that, it really puts it into perspective. Now, some of you may not be ready to charge $150 a month, but 50 might be a good starting point for you. If you had 100 people or 100 true fans paying you $50 a month for a membership or a subscription or something that you've created, which is easy enough, especially when you've got the right coaching community on board, that's going to be an extra $5,000 in your pocket every single month. So don't get caught up in this idea that you need a really huge database of people to be successful. It's just not true. So you can create a community, you can do programs, you can do products, you get to choose what you do. So if you follow the training that I've created inside the membership, the Rich Lady Revolution, you'll know exactly how to create and sell these things and set it up so it is what people want, which is pretty cool. Something else to remember here is that it's the easiest time in history right now because we have the internet. We've got the internet here and you can sit at home in your pajamas, and some of these young ones that know how to use the internet and the algorithms are making bank. So the algorithms are better than they've ever been. And today, even if you start with 0 followers, if you post good content in the right places, the algorithm will push it out. You can get seen by the right people very fast and make bank very fast. So back several years ago in mid 2015, 16, it was very different. You had to work hard, you had to hustle, but this is the easiest time in history and you're part of it. So today, I want you to remember quality content beats quantity hustle. And that's what so many of you need to remember and understand. So here's the trick though. Your brain, your subconscious mind does not want you to become famous. Because here's the kicker. Your subconscious mind will be the biggest roadblock to your success. Because if you're running a business and you've got a product, you need visibility. And you say that you want to be visible, you need to be visible. You say that you want fans, but a part of you feels unsafe about it and it will sabotage it if you don't clear it. So there's a sabotage pattern happening on, and what this workshop and this podcast is dedicated to is clearing those fears and self-sabotages, like literally clearing it in the unconscious mind so it actually doesn't exist anymore. Once again, I know this works because I have done it. If you look at the starting point of where I started, barely being able to utter a word, now up to 209 podcasts, speaking all over, like getting paid to speak, this specifically is what I've done to clear it. So you won't pop off or move into that next level of success until your unconscious mind feels safe to be seen and heard. Because fame equals attention, and that requires you to be triggering in some way. So we chunk it up like this. You can have a negative trigger, which is you're provoking people, which is not ideal. And you'll know, even when I say that, you'll know some influencers that actually do that and they trigger people and then they use that as a strategy. Or the next one is a positive trigger. You can mirror someone's highest potential. Like for me personally in our business, this is the goal. We want to mirror someone's highest potential and connect with them this way. So they're thinking, oh my gosh, this woman knows me. She knows how I feel. She knows what I'm thinking. She's supported herself through it and she's supporting others through it. Perhaps she could also support me through it. That's what you want people thinking. And, that's the biggest piece of feedback I get from most of my clients is one, you meet me where I'm at. And two, it's like you're in my head. You're like, when they read my books and listen to my podcast, they say, I feel like you're talking to me. And I'm like, it's because I am, that you are me a couple of years ago. And I've just created what I needed a couple of years ago. And so people coming along the journey pick that up, what I've created, and they don't have to go about it the long way or the hard way like I did and do trial and error because they've got me here saying, hey, do this, do this, do this. I've done the trial and error. Let me make it easy for you. So yeah, if you're ready to make it easy for yourself, keep listening along. The only way to do this for yourself is to be deeply, unapologetically yourself. But how do you do that? Because there's a problem. In the real world, speaking your truth can mean, and this you might have seen this happen within yourself or friends, family, mentors, family, friends, or mentors. My mouth is working quicker than my brain right now. It might mean separation from family or friends. It could mean being criticized or being judged. And if your subconscious mind links being seen with being unsafe in the brain and also in the body, that's the next part of the workshop that we're doing, it will shut down your content creation without you even realizing it. So I want you to think of this and listen to these because you may have experienced some of them. Symptoms of the subconscious self-sabotage. Stop cycles. If you're someone that finds yourself starting things and never completing them, stopping, having a bit of a rest, like a turtle, pulling your head back in, never getting anything completed or finished, that's a symptom. Overthinking everything, like just getting that anxiety and getting overwhelmed and overthinking everything, but never really taking any action. Procrastinating, always finding something more important to do. I remember when I wrote my first book, I'd always have to clean the house before I sat down and got writing. And the reality is the clean the house had to get done again the next day. And the longer I put off writing my book, that is now there as a legacy piece forever. In that moment, I had to remind myself writing the book was far more important than the kitchen being tidy or clean. And my time spent indoors procrastinating. So maybe you're doing that as well. Telling yourself you need a better content strategy. It needs to be better. I need to make it better. No, just get started and creating safe but mediocre content that keeps you invisible. I did that and continue to sometimes do that. You don't want to trigger anyone too much. You don't want to say anything too much in case someone gets upset with you. It's not because you're lazy. It's because your brain is equaling visibility equals danger. So that's what we're going to change. So the real work, we're not going to hustle harder. We've all done that before. We're going to rewire your unconscious mind because safety comes before success. I want you to write that down. Safety comes before success. And if your mind doesn't feel safe, if your body doesn't feel safe, it will never let you have success or what you want. So the confidence codes, what you can actually get in this workshop, I'm going to take people through about 50 and we're going to dissolve about 50 of the fears of being seen. I'm going to take them through the process. I'm going to use like a filing cabinet analogy, like all your fears are in this filing cabinet and we're going to dissolve them all, like not quite in the click of the fingers, but definitely by the end of the call. You get a Divine Hypnotics confidence activation, which you listen to while you sleep, and that's set up with the filing cabinet analogy as well. So it's getting deep into your unconscious mind. We're going to have a self-belief daily practice over the course of the month to really anchor it in. And one of my favorite things is that we're going to have a 7-day voice and visibility challenge. So where you can actually practice what I've taught you, and it's going to give you real life, real time data as to, I couldn't do that last week because you had fear or you were scared and I'm doing it this week. Why is that? Oh, maybe it's because you went through the fear process and dissolved it. Maybe it's because you've been listening to the divine hypnosis that's subtly changing things in the unconscious mind. And the other thing we're putting together for this is an ebook for all the people in the workshop. So you can move through it's about 50 common fears that you experience, find the root cause and an example of what could have created that for you, so we can dissolve it literally in the click of our fingers. So all of this is very exciting. I'm not going to explain right now what a fear is, because I like to keep the podcast pretty succinct, potent, and powerful, but I will be going through that. And I can tell you, when I learned what a fear was, it dissolved probably a quarter of my fears straight up. Basically, in a snapshot, it's a negatively charged event of the past. So something shitty in the past that has a possibility of occurring in the future. So if you've scared of something, I can guarantee that you've got something in the past where it gave a charge of a negative feeling, shame, guilt, resentment, frustration, unsafety. And what your brain's done is just future pacing it, going, oh, if that happens in the future, it's going to be painful, it's going to be awful, it's going to be hard. So part of this process is using that, knowing what a fear is, to pull in the benefit or the perceived positive, do the comparison of what you think you wanted instead, and then dissolve it. Like, just blows my mind every time I see it. You can physically see people change. I remember doing this with someone in a one-on-one once, and she was so scared of the thing that we were dissolving and neutralizing. She needed a bucket beside her. Like, she was physically making her ill, making her sick. By the end of 45 minutes together of taking her through this process, I said to her, on a charge from 1 to 10, 10 being debilitating, which she was at, stopping you from taking any action, physically making you sick. So she was at a 10. What is it? And she looked at me with this blank look on her face and was like, I can't even remember what the fear is. That is a true story. And it blows my mind every single time how quick this can happen, because my brain used to tell me, and I procrastinated a bit in offering this service to people, because I was like, yeah, a lifetime of being scared of something, can it really be dissolved in the click of the fingers or in a 30, 40-minute session with someone? And it can. It can, because I've seen it time and time again. I've done it time and time again. So if you have got something that's scaring you, that's stopping you, please make sure you get on this workshop so we can support you to dissolve it, so you can get your voice, your medicine, your message to the world and be visible, so you can create your own fame strategy and get noticed and do the things and put the legacy pieces out and get paid for them that you want to do. So that's in a snapshot what a fear is. I'm going to go deeper into that in the workshop. And then I'm just going to give you a few examples of the fears that we're going to dissolve in real time in the workshop. So just see if any of these are relevant to you. So not taking action or posting or creating your business or whatever it is for fear of being seen and criticized, worrying about negative comments, online trolls, or being called out by people in your space, the fear of the thought of a single mistake ruining your reputation or your good name, a fear of feeling anxious that someone with authority might dismiss your work, so somebody that's a bit further along than you, or challenge your credibility. The fear of not being qualified is a big one I come up with. The fear that something you say or do goes viral, but for the wrong reasons. Feeling scared your message will be misunderstood or twisted out of context. The dread of being targeted by online bullies or caught up in a smear campaign. Worrying that you'll be cancelled and lose everything you've worked so hard to build, feeling unsettled knowing that some people might just not like you very much simply because you exist, fear you'll lose your privacy and you'll be watched, judged, or followed, stalked by people, concerned that someone could share your personal details online, the gut-wrenching fear of being stalked or harassed by strangers who cross the line. I've worked with people on that one. Worrying that someone might come for you legally or attack you just because you're growing and glowing too fast. Fear of what success might shift in or around you. So the sadness that you're going to outgrow friends or family members who no longer get you. Feeling like the higher you rise, the lonelier and more isolated you might become. Worrying that you'll no longer relate to everyday people in your life. I've worked with women on that one as they're gearing up for success. The fear that success or power might change who you are in a way that you don't like. Fear of feeling the pressure to be someone that you're not. Worried about being seen as a fake or inauthentic. Concerned that your growth will make others uncomfortable or spark jealousy. That's a big one that happens. in the sisterhood, feeling like you'll always need to be on and you'll never get a rest, fear of burning out, fear of fraud. Like there is so many here fear of losing control. Oh, there's just loads, 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 loads. So we're going to dissolve all of those on the call. And then I'm going to share the self-belief daily practice, the nervous system lock-in. So once again, subconscious mind, the brain will work with that, will dissolve the fear. And then we work with the body as well, because the central nervous system, if it's trapped in the body, if it's stored in the body, which it often is, whether it's yours or it's handed down in your DNA from family members, from trauma in your lineage, there could be fears there. So we're going to clear that from the body as well, which is a really beautiful process that they'll get access to. Then we're going to do the visibility challenge. We're going to show up and shine for 7 days. So keep an eye out for that so they can actually practice and integrate the work that we've done on the workshop. So I'm really excited to run this. And like I said, got back from retreat yesterday. The workshop is tomorrow. I've just put the finishing touches on the slideshow. And this is a little bit of the how and what's possible or the what and what's possible. If you want the how, then jump on to the workshop tomorrow. And if you're listening to this after the 5th of May, then just send us a message saying Confidence Codes Workshop, because this will be the best dollars you have spent in your life. I just could not have accomplished and achieved what I have without this process. And granted, it was taught to me by one of my mentors. And then I took it and twisted it and changed it, add my own salt and pepper, my own herbs and spices. I'm really big into the embodiment of stuff, not just the brain. In our divine hypnotics method, it's brain, body, and being. So I incorporate all of that. So it's changed, shifted, upgraded on every single level. And that's why we get such long-term, sustainable, rapid results. The ladies that are working with us right now are just getting such big, rapid results in all areas of their life. It's insane. You've got to see it to believe it. So there'll be links in the show notes. Please go and have a look. And if you're listening to this at any time in the future and it's speaking to your soul and your whisper is, get your hands on this, let's do it. Thank you for joining us. It's been lovely to be here. It's one of my favorite topics, and I'm looking forward to seeing all of those of you who are on the workshop tomorrow, and then everybody who jumps on gets the recording. Enjoy, and looking forward to meeting you all at some point in person, whether it's at an event or in the Rich Lady Revolution. This is just growing its own legs now, and it's really exciting to see and say that all the hard work that I've done over the last several years is starting to pay off. And I'm so grateful for that version of myself that had the courage to do a bit more exploration and find ways to be seen safely so that I could continue to share my medicine message with the world exactly how you are. Wow, what an episode. Now here's the thing, knowledge is power, but action is where the magic happens. So if today's episode lit a fire in your belly and you're ready to cut the crap, do the thing, and step into the woman you were born to be, then I've got something special for you. Join us inside the Rich Lady Revolution, the membership. It's your next level support system and soul-powered strategy space to redefine what it means to be rich. Rich in profit, peace, presence, and power. This is your invitation to experience what it's like to be fully supported and deeply connected with a world-class coach and a community of high-caliber women who get it. Women just like you. Women walking the path of aligned success with no more burnout, no more sacrifice, and absolutely no more hiding. Inside, you'll receive weekly accountability, rich conversations, and real-life tools to evaluate your income, your impact, and your inner world, all for just $149 a month with no lock-in contracts. So if you are serious about stepping into your rich lady identity, redefining success on your terms, and making meaningful money without losing yourself in the process, head over to www.thosetwosisters.au/membership, or come join the conversation on our Facebook page, The Rich Lady Revolution. Your next level isn't just calling, it's right here waiting for you. Trust me, your future self will thank you for it.